Alright, so this video is going to be going over how to actually take measurements with AstroImageJ and how to use those measurements, how to make sure that your images are good. So it's all about using AstroImageJ. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is really how to know that your images you have are quality images, or at least how to know that they're at least acceptable images. So the first thing to notice is this is my star. This is the one I'd found using Aladdin and my other stuff from last time. So I know that this is my star pair here. So my first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to this bar and I'm going to click on this column looking thing. This is the fits header, and it's going to be able to tell me a lot of valuable information about my image. It has a whole lot of more information than I need. What I'm going to scroll down here is I'm going to scroll down to where I find a whole bunch of history. Because what I'm checking my image for here is I want to check and make sure that it's been calibrated and plate solved. So I'll know that it's been calibrated by knowing that it's had a bias correction, a dark correction, and a flat correction. So as you can see here, it's got the three. If it has those three, it means it's been calibrated to the camera. So we know that the images they've had their biases removed, or their noise, basically. And so once we have these three corrections, the next thing is plate solving, which we can tell here it says WCS created by AstroImageJ, linked to astrometry.net website. So that means astrometry.net, that's who's doing our plate solving. So all of this down actually following this is talking about how AstroImageJ plate solved our image. So we know that it's been calibrated and plate solved from the FITS header. So there's a lot of important information here. Maybe you'll have to come back and get other information here, but those are the pieces we need really. So once you're out of here, you can just click X and you're out. Now we're here in our images, right? And so we know that these images are good. We know that this is my star. So let me show you an example. If I key left to right, I'm moving through my images and I can just see where they are. These are all the different images that were taken. Oh, it looks like that one had some issues. That one had some issues. Oh, but there's my star again. So as I key through, I can see if I have any good images, bad images, and whatnot. So now that I know that they're all plate solved, I can tell also because it's yellow up here that everything's been done. So you'd want to go through and check the FITS header on all your images, but they should all be the same. So once you've known that that's the case, your next step is to make the measurements. You need to know really how big of a measuring tool you need on the image. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to take Option on a Mac. It'll be different on a PC. We'll do a video for PC, but on a Mac you'll press Option and then you'll click on your star. And these are the numbers that you're going to want to know. This shows you what's called the seeing profile. And so it has important information about how wide you'll make your measurement rings as you're taking measurements. So important things to note down is here it says I should have a radius of 18, 32, 48. So these measurements, this is basically saying, this one is like, okay, this is basically to the end of your star. And then it's saying, to here, this is what the background should be. In between these two measurements is the background that I get a reference for, and anything inside of this radius will be measured as my star. And so it's important that I know these because I have to set these manually actually later. So what I'm going to want to do is I check this. So 18, 32, 48. And I'm going to want to go through, and I'm actually going to want to go through and option click on every single one of my stars to make sure they're the same. And if they're not the same, I'm going to want to go through the largest one. So I'm just going to go through a couple of mine so that it doesn't get tedious for you. 18, 32, 48. Let's do one more. And I'll just come over here and I'm just option clicking every time on that same star. So that's what my radii are that I need to remember. If I had had a bigger number, you always want to go with the bigger number. That's the general rule with these. So now that I know what my numbers are, it looks like there's a lot of red here from my option clicking. I can go up here to this broom with the circles, not the broom with the chart. Broom with the circles, and it'll get rid of, as I press it, it'll get rid of all my red circles. So now that I've done that, my next step is to actually start taking the measurements. Not take the measurements. I need to set. I told you guys that I needed to set that, and I do. So I need to hit this red button with set, and I need to change these numbers here to reflect the numbers that I had as I was going through. So as I said, I had 18, 32, and 48. So this is what you'll have to do next. After you know what values you need for your radii, you have to input them here manually. And you only have to do this once. You don't have to do it on every image. Once you've done that, you can hit OK. So now notice my little blue circle is actually bigger. I don't know if you saw that before. It was quite a bit smaller. So let me demonstrate an even bigger one. That's how my measurements are being made. So what if I had, we'll say 36, 48, and 52. I'm just throwing out random numbers here. I do that and you look at my little blue circle, it's even bigger. So let's go back to my numbers. That way we know that I'm doing good ones. So I had 18, 32, and 48. So we're perfect. So this is what I'm going to want to be using to do my measurements. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go back to my first image. That way I make sure I don't accidentally skip an image. And for the measurement that you're going to make, we'll zoom in here just so you can see it. Oops, excuse me. I'm zooming the wrong way. You're going to come down here, zoom into your star, and you're going to press Command. You're going to click on one star, and you're going to drag all the way to your other star. And this is the measurement table, so we'll come back to this. I'm going to minus this. I want to point out, if you can notice, it's actually centered into my star here. It's centered onto the middle of this star and the middle of this. Oh, shoot. One thing I forgot to mention, so we'll just go back into it, is when you hit this set, one thing you want to make sure you have clicked is this Howl Centroid method. I forgot to mention that. Howl Centroid method is what's going to allow you to center in on those stars and actually get more accurate measurements. So, sorry I forgot to mention that earlier. But once you've done that, you'll notice that it is centering in on the middle of your stars. So let me clear this out and even show you what it's going to look like. When I do this, I can even click on the very edge of this star. Notice I'm clicking on the edge, and I'm dragging to the very edge of this one. Notice it'll snap to that. So let's do it from the little guy to the big guy even. I can click on the edge of him, and it should snap right to it. And so it doesn't matter really where you click. You're going to want to try and aim for the middle, but if you miss, it's okay. It really is okay. And see, here it's got measured. So you'll notice one thing. It has my arc length given, my position angle. It has my difference in magnitude between the two stars. And a cool thing that's actually here is that this is all given actually in my measurements table. So I mentioned earlier, don't click the broom with the chart, because if you do, that'll actually get rid of what's in your measurements table. That's something we don't want to do. So if I do this, my measurements table won't exist. So we'll just take that measurement again so I can show you. So you're going to click and drag. There you go. You've got your first measurement. It's got the length, the position angle, the change in magnitude. So this is all the stuff that you need to do your research. The position angle and the arc length are going to be separation and position angle. So they're going to be the things that we're going to actually use in our historical measurements. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go through and do this for every single image. You're going to want to go through, and you can broom out what's there, if it gets confusing to you. So you're going to press Command, click, drag. You're going to get that. Notice it appears over here in my measurement tool. Maybe I'll even just hide my measurement tool over here so you can see it. So now that I'm over here, I'm just going to go to my next one, and I don't really much care for it, so I'm just going to Command, click, drag. There it is. Broom it out to not get in our way. You're going to Command, click, drag. And you're going to do this for every one of your images. Of course, when you get to something that looks like this, we're really not going to want to measure anything here, so just skip those ones. So once you're there, you can click on your measure tool. And what you'll do is you'll come up to here, you'll do File, and you'll do Save As. Come up with a name for it. I'm going to call this measurement tool star video, if I can spell video here. And then I'm just going to save this to my Astro Research, save it wherever I want. I'm going to hit save. Okay, so what that means is all my measurements that I've taken here are saved. So this is basically all I needed to do here on AstroImageJ to take my measurements. My work here is really done. The rest of it will be in actually analyzing my data. So let's hide all this. And we'll go, and I'll show you what happens when you do this. So you're going to go in. Here's my Astro Research. So what I saved right here is this Measure Tool Star video. When you click on it, it's going to say it's not safe. You want to open it anyways. You're the one who made it. It's safe. You can go ahead. So once you're in here, here is all of the information that you'll ever imagine needing. This is most of all the information, even from that FITS header. But it also has your arc length and position angle for all your stars. So all of this information here, this is going to become what's important when you make your measurements. So that's what AstroImageJ gets for you. So if we can talk through it again, just give it a quick overview of its importance. Once you're in here, oops, that's the wrong one. Once you're in AstroImageJ, your first step is to check your header, make sure everything's there. Second step, you're going to want to go through and check your seeing profile. Make sure that with your seeing profile, you're actually getting the right size rings on your blue pointer. And then from there, you're going to just want to take your measurements, put them in your measurement table, and then save your measurement table, and you're ready to go. Thank you guys for watching.